that extra second. But all I ever wanted was like to be accepted by people and this and that. But I'm walking into hip hop, solving Rubik's Cubes and talking about anime and Star Wars, and it's like not a vibe. But through it, I was always myself. I am the first of my kind. Mixed race, Rubik's Cube solving, anime loving, rapper, and there was never been nobody like me before. I had to wake up one day and go, good job, dude, like, that's awesome. You know, every day may have been a bit of a fight and a struggle, but you wouldn't want any of this handed to you. And anybody who solves a cube, they didn't have it handed to them. They had to put that time in, so.
If you're ready for logic, make some noise!
Yeah, I think that's why I do love the cube. It's why I love chess. It's why I love gaming. It's why I love this, because I love it. It's just, I love it. Like, and there's been times when I was so frustrated trying to solve, like angry, like, you know, like legitimately, like it like wasn't fun. So when I would find myself upset because I couldn't break a minute, and then 2 months later I was kicking myself because I couldn't break 30 seconds, and then it was 20 seconds, and then it was da-da-da. I think that was a really special time because I cared so much, but then it wasn't fun anymore. So like, I think there is something to be said about receiving accolades and then realizing you don't really need them. I don't need a Grammy to tell me that I'm good at what I do, you know? Like, it is cool to kind of achieve some of those things that you want to do, but the hardest part, especially when you're that young, is realizing that like, none of that defines you, bro. Like, it really doesn't. Like, you want it, we want it, and even still, I want a Grammy. You know, so I was a kid and I would always look at it. Every couple of years I'd buy a new one, but I could never do it, you know? And as soon as I mixed it, I was like, oh, this is a wrap. This is like not happening. But it wasn't until I was older and found a real sense of wonder in the cube. Yeah, I was like 24 years old and I got a Rubik's Cube, and I went on YouTube and I told myself I was not gonna leave the room until I finished it. It was actually on Thanksgiving, and I was in the room for 14 hours. And I said I was gonna do it until I could do it without watching the video. So I just learned the algorithm, and then the way that I learned the algorithm is very much so how I write raps. So if I was gonna rhyme, I would do it one line at a time, and then I would rhyme that rhyme constantly in my mind. If I was gonna rhyme, I'd do it one line at a time, and then I'd rhyme that rhyme over, and I'd do that over and over and over and over. The algorithm, I don't even remember it anymore. So it's actually become muscle memory, which is how I do my raps to this day. So just by finding my BPM, selecting which tracks I'm gonna be using, that's me like, really, for real, that's me creating my cross and where I'm starting and the fundamentals and the vibe. This is almost like me literally using the algorithm to just go through. And once again, right now, this is not a competition. This is not, I'm not sitting trying to, you know, speed solve this thing. This is me just enjoying it. So I'm in no rush and I'm solving that first layer, and this is literally that. Oh, man, the feeling I had the first time I saw the Rubik's Cube was like, oh, damn, it's only begun. Because I was like, it took me that long to do it. And I just wasn't satisfied. Then I'm like, okay, cool, what's next? And that's also how I feel about chess. I love chess and I love the Rubik's Cube because you can't beat them. It's like a game you can't beat. That's what's so cool about it. And the only person that you're really essentially playing against is yourself. Like, my best time's like 14 seconds. But that's when I would do the Rubik's Cube for at least minimum 8 hours a day. Yeah, in between like writing raps and touring and all this other stuff, I would just do it and do it. But that's the thing with me, it's like my whole life has been a constant fight for balance. Because when I get into something, I just become like a sicko. Like now when I do the cube, it's kind of like music, honestly. Like when I first started music, like I wanted to master it, be the best, da 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 da. And then it's like, here I am, I'm 33. How many platinum records can I have? How many millions of records could I have sold? How many arenas can you sell out? How many this? It's like, that's cool and all, but then you just gotta start having fun with it again. But then with the cube, as soon as I got the best time I could get or this or that, I stopped treating it like it was a job, my hands stopped hurting, and then I could actually just have more fun with it. A lot of it is like the journey, and I feel that, like especially when I game and I play these like 30, 40 hour games that I'm obsessed with, you know? And then you beat it, but my favorite memories were like the beginning of the game and the middle of the game and nearing the end, but not knowing when the end was gonna happen. So, after I broke 30 seconds and 20 seconds and there was a point when I needed to say, how much do you want, man? You know, like same as a musician, it's like how many millions of dollars is really gonna make you comfortable, bro? It doesn't matter how much talent you're born with, like without the knowledge and the education and the time to figure out how to really, well, I don't think you can perfect your craft, but master it, I think it takes education. That's a big thing. I say that the key to success is determination, persistence, realism, and wanting success more than your next breath. I've always said that. Now, it's easier said than done, but the thing is that I think I've left out for all the years that I've been saying that since I was 18 is to be ready. Even the Rubik's Cube, it's like I had to be ready to want to do it. And I think it really just shows you that you can do anything. I think that's why when some of these kids take L's and they lose, they don't come in first or da-da-da. It's like, it's so devastating because even though it is fun, they want that. They want that thing more than anything in the world right then. I've solved a lot of Rubik's Cubes on stage and behind my back and stuff like that. And anytime you ever mess up, it just feels like the end of the world. And that's even how I would feel like if I would flub a word or different things like that live and mess up. Like I used to beat myself up so much. Like I'd come off stage, 5,000 people there, and I'm like, oh man, it took me over a minute to solve that on stage, man. In front of all those people, like I'm upset. And it's like, bro, shut up. What are you upset for? Like it's not that deep, you know? Honestly, as I'm doing this, I'm like, this is crazy that we're doing this right now, that like, this is happening. It's just such a full circle, like be yourself kind of a thing, which is really cool for me. It's such a beautiful community of like, you know, when I see these kids solving these cubes, everyone's just happy. And you know, like you ever see like one of these kids just get it and then everyone's like, oh my God, they freak out. And I'm just like, yo, this is so dope. I don't know if anybody in hip hop would understand how cool this is right now, but I do. It's almost like just by solving and knowing the cube, you're a part of like this really beautiful family all over the world. We're all on the same team, and I think we all learn from each other, which is really cool. And I think it really just shows you that you can do anything. And I think sometimes it's okay to just have fun.